Nights at Toy Freddy's is a quadrilogy of fan games made by RickyG, who seems to be working on Undertale fan games nowadays. I admittedly do have a pretty brief history with these games, as I remember watching Riskrim play the second game and the early access demo of the third, and I've wanted to talk about them for a while, but I thought, why not do it now? Now, when I said there was 4 games, I actually lied to you, as technically there's 5. There's Toy Freddy's 1, the remake of the first game, the second game, the third game, and then the fourth game. Now, these games were unlisted in 2019, so in 2021, RickyG decided to make his older fan games public again, but only a handful of them. The FNAF Game Maker editions were up, but the Toy Freddy games were not made public again, so I'm relying on an unofficial re-upload of those games. And there is another Game Jolt user. He has a lot of RickyG's old games I'm not talking about right now, and I will leave his Game Jolt page linked if you're at all interested in those games. But that's it. I just wanted to say that. I also will not be talking about One Night at Green Toy Freddy's, which I know it's very disappointing, but I mean, come on. What do you want me to say about it? I'll also not be going over the Five Nights at Freddy's Game Maker Edition series, mainly because there are 9 games in that series, so I'll probably make a separate video all about those at another time. And that's enough of the build-up. Let's get to the first game in the series. Night 1 is your typical Night 1, however this acts as an amazing way to give my 2 biggest criticisms out as soon as possible. Those being looking around and the cameras. We'll start with the cameras first because they're more important. In this game, if you move at an odd speed, the camera will double flip, which is really annoying, especially since you have to flip on the mask really quick. It's like similar to the original build of Treasure Island from 2014. Simply looking around the office is also really awkward, and it did lead to me dying a few times, because it's like no matter how many times I slammed my mouse against where I wanted to look at, the game would physically fight me and not let me look there. It's kind of hard to describe, but admittedly it's not all that important, as it only costed me like 1 or 2 times, because I'll be honest, this game was incredibly easy. The only threats will be Toy Bonnie, Toy Freddy, Golden Bonnie, and that's about it. Balloon Boy and Toy Chica attacked me a total of 1 time, and I died to Mangle once because I want to see how long it would take her to attack. Most of this game is just looking at Pirate's Cove, looking at backstage, and then flipping the camera down and looking around while you wait for an enemy to eventually attack. It's a shame because I did want to say a lot more, but there really is not more to talk about. The most I could talk about is the photoshopping on some cameras is really funny because it reminds me of my own thumbnails. So originally I was not going to talk about the remake here. I was going to give it its own segment, but I can't do that, and that's because it's just the first game again, and I mean that in the worst way possible. The biggest changes that I'll mention is that there's a new phone guy, and it's actually a guy this time. You get mini games after every night where the green guy, who's just the phone guy, corrupts the animatronics. And Chloe is a threat, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've ever encountered her in the game. At least I can't really remember it. But apparently you just gotta flip the camera down to get rid of her. I do like this game a bit more though, just because the issue of the camera is fixed, because you need to click on it to bring it down. But that's gonna be it. Let's just move on to Toy Freddy's 2. Let's see if it's as good as I remember. So Toy Freddy's 2 has the main character, Richard, staying at Freddy's for a week. If he's successful, he will get $10. Great job, Richard. You know, humans have self-preservation skills. At least we're supposed to. Regardless though, the threats are Toy Freddy, the Endoskeleton, BB's Head, and Springtrap. Wait a minute, why? Okay, so I'm revising my script right now, and I just realized I forgot to put in the puppet and Chloe there. That should tell you how much of a threat they were, that I just completely forgot about them. Everyone else you have to wear the mask for, the puppet and Chloe you just have to stand still for. This game has the same issues the first one had, no big surprise. And just like the first game, you can't wear the mask for too long. If you do, then you'll suffocate. Something I found out on night 6 is there's actually no punishment for not flipping the cameras up, which meant that I beat night 6 by staying in my office and looking around. When you eventually beat all 5 nights, Richard dies, and then you can have a night 6 where you play as an officer who finds Richard's corpse inside a Toy Freddy suit. I know that this was very short, but I genuinely struggled to actually be able to talk about this game, because going in I would have thought there was a lot to talk about, or at least the same as the first, but honestly I didn't have anything to talk about here. Most of it is just the same issues as the first. It's way too easy, it's way too slow, way too many points where you're just waiting around for something to happen. The nights feel a lot longer than the first game did. There's even less threats. It's just not a good game, and I don't know if I could even recommend this game. I want to because of my nostalgia, but looking at it as a game, it's still not very good. Before we continue, we need to talk about the Five Nights at Toy Freddy's 3 early access demo people like Risk Grimm and Eulatim were given. The threats would have been the toy animatronics, maybe minus the puppet. The restaurant looks terrible. I know that Risk Grimm's had this, but it really does look like one big shower. The threats are going to be dealt with by the doors in front of you. The 2 doors can't be closed at the same time, and you'll have to occasionally restart the generator. When your shift at the Gmod restaurant ends, you're greeted with a mini-game where you play as William Afton entering a restaurant, where you get jump-scared by Withered Toy Freddy, with the text "The Joy of Creation" and Golden Freddy's scream. Maybe it's supposed to be Chloe? I really couldn't tell you. But that's all for the early access demo. Let's move on to the actual game. Toy Freddy's 3 takes place in a museum dedicated to Freddy's. The 3 threats are Phantom Freddy, Toy Golden Freddy, and Springtrap. Springtrap will either go through the vent, or he will rush through the door and you have to close the respective doors. Phantom Freddy will walk across the hallway and you have to close the door before you can get in. Finally, there's Golden Toy Freddy, who will stand behind the office window and you just have to flip the camera up to get rid of him. This is easily the worst game in the series. Not to spoil the 4th game, but all the offices can feel very tight and hard to look around in. This one, though, decides to make it so you can't look around in it, and I really do not like that. When I played this game, I first thought it would be like Five Nights at the Illuminati 3, and I have a video on that whole series, which will be linked in the description below. I bring that series up because when I first played the game, I assumed it would be like the 3rd game, as in you can easily just hold the power button down while you close both doors. However, I was wrong. It's like the 4th game, where you can't charge the power while keeping the vent doors closed. But that does not make it hard. Both games are incredibly easy and incredibly boring, as you're really just waiting until something can happen. Before I talk about the 4th game, we actually have to talk about the mini-games. The first mini-game has you as a spring-locked William, and you just have to leave the room with a laughing adult, and what I'm guessing are children. I really don't like the black bars. They genuinely hurt my eyes to look at. It's not important, but it's just something that appears all the time, so I figured I'd talk about it right away. The second minigame has you touching possessed Golden Toy Freddy, and the minigame ends. The third minigame has you following a blood trail. The minigame ends after leaving the room. The fourth minigame has you chasing Golden Toy Freddy, and the minigame ends when you leave the room. Something important to note is that there's a hammer. and that will give you an alternate ending. I'm going to talk about what happens if you get the hammer first, just because it's easier. When you beat Night 5, you're thrown into a room with 3 dead people laying in a pool of their own blood. If you decide to grab the hammer, then you could destroy Golden Toy Freddy, and the game ends with a newspaper detailing how the museum shut down because of the last minigame. If you don't grab the hammer, then you can't go back and get it, and you're forced to touch Golden Toy Freddy, and that will cause the bad ending, which I'm guessing that will cause the Golden Toy Freddy suit to still be haunted. Overall, I'm not really a fan of this game. The nights are way too long. They were like 7 minutes long, and there's nothing to do for most of it. The power doesn't go down fast enough for that to be even somewhat entertaining. The threats almost never actually attacked me. It was very understimulating, and overall, it's just not a good game. I really cannot recommend this game at all. Five Nights at Toy Freddy's 4 is the final game in the series, and it was actually lost media for years. In 2019, when Ricky's games were deleted, the first 3 plus the remake were saved, but not the 4th game. However, Frankie Beppers actually uploaded the original Toy Freddy's 4 and saved it from being lost media only recently. It was July 9th, 2025. I think that's the earliest date that this game came back up on, which is fucking insane to think about. The threats of Five Nights at Toy Freddy's 4 are Toy Freddy, Withered Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, and Toy Chica. Both the toys are dealt with by hiding in the hallway for a few seconds. You can only come out when you hear the sound of footsteps. You only go into the hallway when you see that there's a threat in Cam 4, so that does make the game pretty easy, to be honest. And the toy animatronics will act as the phantoms. They cannot kill you. The other room you need to know about is the generator room, where you could slowly charge the power, and that really is just about everything in this game. We do have some mini games, but I'm not going to talk about those yet. I want to talk about my overall opinion on Toy Freddy's 4, and I think it's the best game in the series. I would say it's probably my favorite looking. There's some really weird looking cameras, but like Ricky was like 13 when he made these games. I think we can overlook that. I mean, Night 6 didn't even have any of the toys activated. I'm not even joking. On Night 6, I think both Toy Freddy and Withered Toy Freddy had their AI deactivated because they never came to even my door. I don't think they even moved around. That's how crazy it was. I think the 2 only lethal threats being dealt with in the same way without even a superficial change is really bad, but the nights are also only 4 minutes long, which is actually appreciated after the 3rd game. Now, we have to talk about this game's minigames, and I decided not to talk about them before because they are all the exact same. They have you chasing the green guy as a dead spirit until the final minigame where you find the green guy dead. This is supposed to be the phone guy from the remake, and you play as Chloe in these mini games, and it ends with you getting your spirit avenged. Oh, also, you can actually press story on the menu, and you get the story of this whole series. I think that's pretty cool. Overall, while I wouldn't say that these games were good by any stretch of the imagination, they were actually pretty popular when they came out. I actually enjoyed making this video a lot. Now I'm going to do something I might just regret and make a video about the Iggy's Funhouse games. I have no idea how long that will take, so I'll see you then.